Hello and welcome back to our This Is How We Grow personal growth group. This is lesson 6 of season 2. And for those who have been following along this season as we've been going, you know that this is a very late coming lesson because I have been very busy in the past month with publishing a book and finishing another book, and I'm excited to tell you that everything is done for now. That my new book, Who Am I Without You, came out about a week and a half ago, and my many thanks to all who helped promote it online and have shared it. It's been very exciting to have it in print and to get to go and have some book events and signings and talk about it. And this day after this book came out, my third book called 8 Keys to Mental Health Through Exercise with Norton Publishing came out, didn't come out. It was due the very next day. And I got strep throat, and there were snow days, 3 snow days in a row, so all my kids were home, and it was a crazy stressful time. I also had to speak at a conference right before that. It's like, you know, and there's a perfect storm, and my life normally isn't this crazy intense, but it's like everything that's been coming for all these months just converged at the same exact time. My kids were all sick for a week, then I got sick, then here I am trying to finish this book right after my other book comes out. I finished it at 3:30 in the morning of the day that it was supposed to be due, actually the next day, but sent it before the next morning, so I guess that counts. And I was just so grateful to be done. I actually had to bribe my kids to watch each other and watch the little one. I paid them each 20 bucks to take turns for 2-hour shifts during the day because I was desperate to finish. And then the next day I completely collapsed. Even though the kids were home, they were really good and supported me and helped me with getting some rest and recovering and finally starting to feel better, because 2 days later I had to go to Chicago. And one great thing for that was I got to do a great book launch event there with 30 Second Mom, which was really exciting. We got to sell some books and sign some books and talk about the book a little bit. But really I was there for a legal case where I was the expert witness, and it was my first time ever doing this. And so I was very nervous and had to spend a lot of time studying and preparing for the trial. And then the case ended up settling and they flew me back. And then the next night I had to drive 2 hours to Phoenix to go to a book club. And then now I'm here, and it's spring break starting soon, and I am excited because I am going to take a break. So I didn't tell you all this just to bore you or to show you, you know, what I've been doing exactly, but to show that even when times are good, even in our flourishing times, it can be tough. It's not always overcoming these hard challenges that's tough. It can be tough when we find success, when things are going well, and especially when our body can't quite keep up with what's going on. And as we talk today, we're going to focus on fulfilling your mission and purpose. We're really going to get into that. We finished up last session with our pyramid of self-worth and talked about building on self-worth, and now we get to get into the really exciting stuff. Today we're going to talk about your mission and developing a mission statement. And so I shared all of that because it's interesting, because here I am kind of at a time of flourishing, and yet I still have all these challenges. You know, health issues, exhaustion, you know, time pressures from other people for what they need from me, family pressures, and trying to kind of keep it all together, and it was too crazy. And I'm glad that I finished it, and I'm glad that it's over, and I'm wearing my little relaxed, colorful shirt today with my ripped jeans because I'm exhaling. And that's what we need to do. When times get crazy, then the first chance that we get after, we exhale, we get still again, we get back to the basics and figure things out at this point, and that's what I'm excited to do. So I am excited to talk to you about your mission and your purpose and developing a mission statement, because it has been one of the most helpful things I've done in my life, and it's been interesting. I was just reviewing my mission statement that I wrote. I guess I wrote it probably in 2008 or 9, you know, about, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 years ago. And reading it again now, I realized that, you know, most of it still applies, but my life is a little bit different now. And so I needed to tweak it. So I'm kind of going back through the process along with you of figuring out my mission statement again and what my mission is at this point, and am I on track with that. So I'm really going through this with you, and it's fun to get to share these thoughts that I have on this process with you through this group. And I'm grateful for all of you who are participating and working and doing the exercises, because that's really how we grow. And it's fun to get to share some of my insights on these things as I grow. We're doing it together. So, and if you hear noise in the back, I have my little fountain going. So again, I'm trying to be all calm. And I do feel calm and happy and really excited to exhale a little bit. So to get us started, I want to quote a little bit from Who Am I Without You? We're going to use, there's a chapter 46 near the end. There's 52 short chapters, but near the end is a chapter called Develop Your Mission Statement. So if you want more information on this, definitely the book is, even though it says it's for after a breakup, it's really what I say is a short, sweet guide to self-esteem and self-worth. And some of the things we've been talking about this year obviously have come from this book, but I really hope that people will get it no matter what they're going through, whether they're in the overcoming, becoming, or flourishing stage, whether their relationships are on the rocks or they're wonderful, because we can all improve and grow, and there's a lot of great ideas in here that can help you and have helped me. And I don't know if I shared this, but when they sent me the proofs for this book, I was in the midst of suddenly finding myself in the midst of major depression again. And I struggle with that throughout my life, as many of you know. And I had just written about it on my blog that I was surprised to find myself again in the midst of a major depression, feeling like, why on earth am I here? And especially shocked when suddenly the proofs for this book showed up and I had to read the entire book and look for any final mistakes before it went to print. And it seemed like the worst possible timing. And doesn't that happen all the time in life, where it seems like the worst possible timing for something to be happening because it just doesn't feel like you're ready, or it doesn't feel like it should be happening now? That's how I felt. But what happened was I ended up getting to read the book, and I decided to do the exercises in the book because I hadn't really done them all in an order like that. And what I found was that it really helped. And I was sort of excited, like, wow, I wrote this book and now it's helping me. And so I just share that because I want you to know that, again, I've been through this, and this has worked for me, and through a time of depression, and it can work for you in whatever times you're going through. So I hope you'll choose to do so. So to start here, I have a quote from Buddha, or at least it's attributed to Buddha. We're not, can't say for sure. But he had once said that your purpose in life is to find your purpose and give your whole heart and soul to it. So really your purpose, especially right now, is to find your purpose. And then I think once you find your purpose is to, as he says, give your whole heart and soul to it. So it means to live it, to live that purpose. And in order to do that, we're going to first focus on your ideas for yourself, your plans, your dreams, your goals, your desires. Now, it's important to start with your vision for yourself, because ultimately our bigger purpose in life, the meaning and purpose and life's calling and our mission in life, it really, we all know that that's something that's bigger than us, right? It's I say God provides really that bigger purpose and meaning for us, and we all have one. And it's something that's very personal and spiritual, and we just know that there's a bigger plan for us, and that's what we mean when we talk about mission and purpose and life's calling. But to start, it's really hard. It's harder to get to the place where you can understand that, where you really know, okay, this is God's purpose for me. This is, sort of the bigger plan that the universe has for me. That's a little bit more difficult. And so I find it's easier and helpful to start from the place of, okay, let's start with what you think you want. Because that is part of it. What you desire and what you crave out of life and what you're looking for and working on, that all comes into play with the bigger picture and the bigger design. So we're going to start with, what do you want from your life? So to quote from Who Am I Without You? Mission statements bring what you desire for the future into focus in the present. And that is really why today we're going to really talk about writing a mission statement, because we want to see what I want in the future, and then we bring it to the present so that we can start working on it right now. And the reason why we went through that whole pyramid of self-worth first is because now you know yourself so much better. And once you can start to feel self-worth and embrace it and understand it, you are in such a better place to start working on, okay, then if this is who I am, then what am I going to do with that in the world? And that's what a mission statement can help us do. Mission statements outline what you are seeking and the steps you're taking to get there. A well-developed mission statement can keep you on the path of overcoming, becoming, and flourishing. It can help you break through whatever barriers come your way and reach your highest potential. That is our ultimate goal. So I want to also quote from This Is How We Grow to kind of get us started thinking about what do I want from life, and you know, we're going to talk about how to write a mission statement in a minute, but this is from page 139 of This Is How We Grow, and it says, I am also desperately trying to figure out who I am now. And hopefully you can relate to that we have these experiences in life that sometimes we want them, sometimes we don't, but they change us. And it makes us go, who am I now? So even though we've been through that pyramid of self-worth, and maybe you're starting to get the hang of it, I want to remind you that self-worth is something that's always there with you, but feeling it, embracing it, and really understanding who am I and living your life according to that and being comfortable with who you are, that is a lifelong process, because as life changes and as things happen to us, it can make us once again go, wait a minute, who am I now? And I had been through this self-esteem, self-worth process so many times before this experience that I write about here. I was in my 30s. I'd been working on this for a good 10 years or more. And yet when my life took a sudden turn, suddenly I'm faced with, oh my gosh, who am I now? And so I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. So it says, I'm desperately trying to figure out who I am now. Desperate is never good. And does it really matter? It's not something I can necessarily figure out or decide upon anyway. It's a process only time can unfold. I am who I am, period. My actions don't define me. They are a manifestation of parts of me. If I simply press on, shooting for service, bringing joy to my family and others, eventually I will feel whole, right? And I like that that little segment ends with a question, right? Because it shows that I wasn't sure, and I'm still not always sure. We're still not always sure that the path that we're setting for ourselves is the exact right one. But when we ask that question of, is this right? I'm doing okay, right? Then, and when we're not asking that of other people or getting, seeking the approval of others really necessarily, but rather with our higher power, with God, seeking that approval and saying, is this right? This feels right? That kind of thing. That's really what we're doing when we're trying to seek and fulfill our mission. And then another part here, I wrote later in the book, this is pages 396 and 397, I wrote about how I went to a music workshop. And many of you know that I enjoy songwriting as a hobby, and I love to sing, and I play a little guitar and a little piano. And my kids are musical, and we love to, my parents, this is just what we do in my family. We play music and we sing and write songs and things like that. And I can always tell when I'm healthiest, because when I'm healthy, I'm involving myself in more music. I'm writing more songs, I'm singing, I'm sharing music. And when I'm not doing that, I can tell that I'm too stressed. I'm too busy, I'm too stressed, and it's hard to be creative musically when I'm in that kind of space. And so now I'm at a point where I've just finished these two books. One has come out, one is done, and I'll be editing that, and then hopefully eventually I'll start another book, but I need some time off. And one thing I knew that I needed to do at this time in my life is get back to my music, and hopefully I'm going to record some songs and keep writing some songs and just really get back in touch with that part of me, because it's really important to me. So think about yourself, are there parts of you like that, like music for me, that you feel you need in your life, and that helps you and it opens you up, and it helps you to grow, and that sometimes those things fall by the wayside for months or years even, because we're too busy, because we've given ourselves over to our family, our life, our work, whatever, and we don't make time for those things that we love. And those things are important to keep as part of our mission. And so this was a really important time for me, because it was a time when I was going through major overcoming phase and becoming phase in my life, and those seasons of fall and winter, and here I am in my spring kind of trying to come out and go back to music again. And so I went to this workshop for the first time, and I had entered a couple of my songs into the songwriting contest, and no, I did not win anything. And then they do a critique of the songs. And so when I was listening to the critique, they do a recorded critique of the songs. The one song that I submitted was a song that I wrote on motherhood, and really I wrote it about postpartum depression, and it's called Who Am I Without, actually, Who Am I Now That You Are Here? It's interesting because it's kind of a similar title to my book, but I really like that song, and I used to share it at conferences for postpartum and when I teach about postpartum, and of course everybody really related to it. But I submitted it, and I didn't say that it was postpartum song, you know, they didn't know, and it was funny because the critique came back and just said, I'm not really sure I understand. It's like you're happy to be a mom, but you're like hesitant and you're not sure who you are. It almost feels like you have postpartum depression or something. And so I laughed because I was like, well, at least she got the idea of the song. That's really what the song was about. But why did I submit a song about postpartum depression to a general song contest? And of course they're not going to know what I was trying to do there, but you know, I took the feedback and it was still positive to me. But it was just a beginning of my growth process. So I want to quote a little bit from after that. It says, one of the speakers today from this conference I went to asked us to envision our perfect plan of how things would look for our music in the future. So this is related to at the time, my perfect vision of my future related to music. And that's what we're working on today, is what's your perfect vision of your life, your mission, your purpose in whatever realm or area of your life. When I closed my eyes, I saw me as a full-time mom writing a book that is published and touches people. Remember, at this time I hadn't written any book or even really attempted anything like that. I'm asked to speak about the book, and as I speak, I share a song or two. As I share songs, people are touched, and someday my kids are involved with music with me too, an important part of our family as we grow. Such a clear image I saw. It was the first time someone's asked me to dream in quite a while, and I was grateful. I also took away the fact, you know what, before I go on, I want to stop there. So you heard that vision that I had in 2009, I think it was, and now it's 2015, 6 years ago. And yet here I am living that vision. And I know it's only because I dared to dream and dared to have that vision and that mission for myself that I am where I am now. I've published 2 books now. I do get to go and speak about them. I love getting to go and do book clubs and talk with others about it. And in doing so, I share a song usually or 2. And now I'm at the point where I'm going to record some music, and yes, I'm going to have my kids play the instruments for me while I sing, because, you know, it's something I've always wanted, and it's something that they are good enough now to do. And so it's really exciting for me. When I went back and reread that this morning, I thought, wow, I really did see this, and now here I am living it. And so now I'm creating a new vision for myself, a new mission and mission statement to get me to that vision. And because I do feel like I'm living my life with a mission. I feel like I understand my life's purpose and meaning and mission. But it sort of, even though it pretty much stays constant, you know, the hows of how you do that kind of change over time. So I'm trying to figure that out again. But hopefully that inspires you a little bit to really work on this mission statement. So then to go on, I also took away the fact that I don't have to wait to work on singing, writing, songwriting, piano, guitar, and speaking. I may not be in a place right now where I can go out and share these talents, but if I work on them, when the opportunity finally comes, I will be ready. Here's to being ready. I hope that you can do the same, that you can know that no matter what season of life you are in, if you have little kids and you can't get away, if you're busy with work or school or trying to build your career, that it's not the right season for you yet to go and share these talents or to go out and pursue your dreams maybe, because maybe you're still laying the groundwork. And I have had many years of that and go back in and out of years of that. And those are those seasons of life, or whatever season of growth you're in, whether you're in a winter or a fall and you're not ready for spring or summer yet. That's okay, but you can do something now. And right now you can write your mission statement. So let me tell you how to write a mission statement. There are basically 3 simple steps. The first step is to review. Review, pull out your journal and your notebook and everything that we've done in this group this season and last season if you were with us last season, and any of the work you've done If you've joined my 30-day personal growth plan online, that's a wonderful way to get really specific ideas for how to apply all the things we've been talking about. And that's a free plan where you get an email every day to help you. So whatever tools you've been using to help you grow, and not even just the ones you've been using with my programs, but in your own life, gather all that together. When I did this several years ago, I read through my journals. I had notebooks where I would kind of keep lists of my strengths and weaknesses and a lot of the exercises we've worked on here. And then I pulled all that out and I started to kind of come up with what are some of the general themes that I want to do with my life. What kind of people do I want in my life? What do I want my relationships to look like? What do I want my work to look like? How do I want to contribute in society? And what do I want to do as a mother? And so you can think about all these things and review the things you've already learned. And this again shows you why we had to first work through that pyramid of self-worth and do all this work to start understanding who you really are. So then you can say, okay, this is who I am, or these are parts of who I am that I understand so far, and I'm still working on that. But I can take that and go, okay, these are things that are important to me, and these are things I really need in my life, and this is how I need my self-care, and then you can use that to create your vision and your mission for your life versus, your daily vision or your, vision for this period of time that we've talked a little bit about. So you pull all that down and you write it all down. And then step 2, so first you review what you've already learned and what seems relevant to you and important. Then number 2 is you brainstorm. You write it all down. And I remember in my notebook, I had 2 full pages just with all kinds of stuff on it of things I wanted to do with my life, dreams I had, goals I had, things I thought I would never get to do, but it's fun to dream, why not put it down? Things I knew about myself, things I wanted to know about myself, who I wanted to become, all these things. So you put it all down and you come up with all these ideas, and then you sort of look at it and go, okay, what are some of the most important sentences that I could take from this that might be part of a mission statement? So for instance, some of my brainstorming ideas, once I looked at everything, were things like, like I wanted to contribute, and that service is important to me, and it's important to me to give back and to have meaning in my life by having that purpose of serving others and helping others, and that I like to help people. That's one idea. And one idea was, as a mother, that I wanted to be more than just a responsible mother. I wanted to be fun and inspiring, and I wanted to be loving and patient, and I wanted to grow as a mother and let the opportunity of being a mother develop me into the person I wanted to be. And that another thing that's important to me is my spiritual connection and faith, and that I believe in God, and I believe that there is a divine purpose for me, and that I need to grow closer to God and to listen to His plan for me, and I wanted to do that. And so, all of these ideas. So you come up with your brainstorm of all these different sentences. There's no right or wrong. And then the third step is to refine. So then you start kind of whittling down and making these sentences into something more concrete and short and focused and specific. And this process can take a very long time. The first time I did this, it took me a full week or more of working on it every day to even get down to the point where I had probably 6 to 10 sentences of things that I might want to put in my mission statement. But it just took a really long time, several months of thinking about it and tweaking it to really get it to where I felt like it fit me at the time. And like I said, now I feel like it doesn't exactly fit me, so I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board. But we need to give ourselves time for that. And one important thing is when we refine it in that step 3, you're really trying to boil it down to 3 to 5 sentences. You don't want a massively long mission statement. Although, if that's really what you think is best for you, you do it. I'm not going to tell you not to do it. But in general, a mission statement is concise and focused and clear. And it speaks in the present tense. So for instance, in my mission statement, I say, I am a loving, patient, attentive, devoted, inspiring, fun mother. Okay, so that's one thing. I am spiritually connected with God. I listen to His guidance for me. I seek to obey and follow His plan for me so that I may live the life that I want to live. And this isn't exact, but these are ideas, right? I am blessed with a husband I love dearly, and I am committed to him, and I will work on our relationship as we continue to grow together. These kinds of things. We put it in the present tense, because these are things you want for yourself in the future, but again, we're bringing it back to the present, and a mission statement brings it to the present. And when we start to believe it, we start to say it in our mind over and over, we start to believe it. And once we start to believe it, that's when we really get to that place. So now I can literally say, I am an author and a speaker, and when I go and sing, when I go and speak, I get to sing some songs, and I love to interact with people, and I feel like I'm contributing that way. I can say that for sure now, but back when I wrote that, or something like that, when I had that vision that I was telling you, that dream, I couldn't really have said that. I didn't know if any of that was really true, but we put it in the present tense and then we work toward it. So I hope that makes sense. So a few things to keep in mind as you work on this, because this is your main big assignment for this next month, is to work on this mission statement and to clarify and keep working on it even past the next lesson and past however long it takes you, and keep pulling it out and refining throughout your life. And that's the whole point of this. So again, it can take several weeks or several months or even several years to find a mission statement that works for you, but be patient and keep working on it. Secondly, remember your mission statement. Once you get it there, you need to remember it. So if you write it in a notebook, I did this at first, and I worked on it a long time, and then I kept it in a notebook for, gosh, a year or so, and then I found it again, and it was like, oh yeah, that's my mission statement. Well, how can I really be working on it when it's shoved in a corner somewhere? So write it down, tape it up on your wall, put it, I have a bulletin board above my desk where I work in my home office, and I put inspiring quotes and things, so I can put it up there. You can put it on your screensaver on your phone or your laptop, something to remind you of what you're really trying to do each day, that you can kind of just even see it and it reminds you of what you're doing. And then finally, as your circumstances change, as life changes, you will change. So you must go back and continue to change and alter your mission statement when you feel like you need to. And that won't have to happen every week or every month or even every year, but at certain phases and seasons of life or certain seasons of growth, you might need to alter it. And so keep that in mind, that that's part of the process as well. So those are the suggestions, and I hope that you can apply them and work on putting together this mission statement, because this is the first part of fulfilling your mission and purpose. So this is your idea of what your mission is at this point of your life. This is your idea of what you want for yourself, your dream, your vision for yourself. Then next time, in the next lesson, we're going to focus on how do we know what the bigger picture is from God, from your higher power. How do we know what that is for us, and how do we fulfill that? And that's a big, important question, but one that I am so excited to talk about. It's one of my favorite things to work on, is that spiritual understanding and knowledge and light, and one of my favorite things to share. So in closing, to quote from a woman named Stephanie Lennox, she said, "I've been fighting to be who I am all my life. What's the point of being who I am if I can't have the person who is worth all the fighting for?" What is the purpose of us being who we are if we can't actually be that person? Why are we fighting for that if we won't let it actually happen, if we can't actually become that person we want to become? And a mission statement is a great way to get us to be that person we've been fighting for. Hopefully you've been fighting hard to become the person you desire to be, and you'll fight hard to become the person that God wants you to be, find the bigger plan for yourself and to fulfill that, because I can attest that it is so worth it, that living a life of meaning, a life of purpose, a mission, and a life's calling, fulfilling that in your life is so rewarding, and it helps you to know that you're here for a reason, and that there is a bigger plan for you and for all around you, and that you need to be here because somebody or something out there needs you and what you have to offer. So don't shirk your duty. It's a very important responsibility to do this work, and not everybody's up to the challenge, and a lot of people think it's too hard. But you've been sticking with me, you've been here doing this work with this group, and I pray that you will continue to move forward working on your mission statement, and join me next time for our lesson number 7. We've only got a few more till the end of the season, and as we talk about how do we understand the bigger picture, the bigger plan for ourselves, and what can we do with that. So until then, I hope you will join me on my website at drchristinahibbert.com. You can learn more about the new book on whoamiwithoutyou.com, or on my website, or my other website. And of course, This Is How We Grow is on there as well. And I hope you will check out some of the other resources, blog posts, that are online. I just did a blog post that I'd love you to check out that goes along with what we talked about today about needing support and letting people help you with all of this. And that is a post that I called Friends, Family, and Support, 10 Crucial Ways to Be There for Each Other and Love Each Other. So check that out if you haven't already, and go and see if that's part of your mission, and then let others do that for you too. I am so excited to see you next time, and until then, I hope you will overcome, become, and flourish. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.